Good afternoon, I am Dizon Rina from EED 3B. I'll be discussing the Lesson 1 under Unit 5, the Pictorial Media. Now let's start. So what is pictorial media? Objects can be presented by symbolic, iconic, and indexical signs. While a symbol is related to a represented object by convention, an icon is related to a represented object by structural commonalities. Speaking of which, pictorial media concretize abstract concepts through visual representations of pictures and photographs. In short, ang pictorial media from the word itself, pictorial, pictures, mga larawan, mga iba't ibang klase ng larawan na madalas ginagamit ng guro sa pagtuturo. Ang mga ito ay maaaring magturo, magbigay ng ideya o kaalaman sa mga mag-aaral sa iba't ibang real-world situations na makikita sa mga larawan. Pictorial media are further divided into four. These are flat pictures, photographs, illustration, and flashcards. Number 1, flat pictures are also known as still pictures. So flat pictures are representation of objects or things on a flat surface. So these are two-dimensional aids. Ito yung mga pinakamura, madaling mahanap at madaling magamit na uri ng mga materials. Madalas sa mga ito ay nahahanap lang kung saan-saan at walang bayad, kumbaga libre. Maaari tayong makakuha ng mga ito sa mga magazine, newspaper, advertisement, pamphlet, poster, circulars at marami pang iba. This can help illustrate and teach a specific lesson or topics, help learners recall information, and visually explain information that would be difficult to convey using verbal or written terms. In using this type of media, we have some guidelines to be followed. Number 1, pictures must be clearly seen by everyone. Dapat nakikita ng malinaw at nakikita ng lahat, mula sa first line or row hanggang sa pinakahuli. Second, students or pupils must given a chance to point out what they think important aspect of the picture. Dapat hindi lang puro si teacher ang nag-share ng insight. Dapat bigyan ng opportunity ang mga mag-aaral na ipahayag at sabihin ang kanilang mga pananaw sa aralin o sa larawan na kanilang nakikita. Number 3, the teacher must supplement pupils' comments to make sure that nothing has been omitted. Bilang isang guro, may mga instances na may napupuna ang mga mag-aaral sa mga instructional materials na ginagamit, halimbawa the size of text, color at marami pang iba. Ang mga ganitong komento mula sa mga mag-aaral ay hindi dapat nabaliwalain. Imbes gawin itong guide kung paano pa pauunlarin ang mga materials na gagamitin sa susunod na talakayan. Number 4, teacher and pupils should discuss together what they find in the picture. Bilang isang guro, kinakailangan na gawing collaborative and meaningful ang learning experience. Kinakailangan na hindi lang si teacher ang laging nagsasalita o giver of information at students are just passive receiver. Bagkus, active learning must happen. Teacher and students must collaborate and share their insights with each other. Halimbawa nito ay when teacher asking questions, students are actively participating in answering the questions. Number 5, the picture used in class should lead to accumulation of related pictures in the textbook. Dapat ang mga gagamiting mga larawan ay tutugma, may kinalaman o kaugnayan sa mga lessons na nasa libro na dapat ma-acquire ng mga learners during the lesson. Number 6, if the pictures used in the class steers the pupils to attempt at illustrating their own, it is a good evidence that a sound has been made of them. Ang mga IMs tulad ng picture ay mako-consider lamang na effective if na-e-engganyo nito ang mga learners na ilarawan ng kanilang mga nakikita sa mga pictures. Halimbawa, they can describe or tell what they see and meaning of the image presented. They can share their thoughts and insights about the image using their own words. Number 7, pictures ought to supply incentives for the use of auxiliary aids like motion pictures, film strips, and others. Ang paggamit ng mga larawan sa pagtuturo ay nakadadagdag na mas maunawaan pa ng mga mag-aaral ang paksang tinatalakay. Minsan may mga pagkakataon na hindi na ibibigay ng mga video, music, radio, textbook at iba pang materials ang mga kinakailangan sa pagtuturo, kung kaya't nariyan ang mga larawan upang punan ng mga kakulangang ito at lalo pang maliwanagan ng mga mag-aaral sa mga konseptong tinatalakay. And lastly, number 8, pictures ought to promote supplementary reading. Minsan ang mga learners hindi nila maintindihan ang mga aralin kahit na nakasulat na ang mga ito. Isa sa mga gamit ng larawan ay tulungan ang mga learners na maunawaan ang mga text or passage na kanilang binabasa. Kung ang mga babasahin or text ay may kasamang larawan, mas madaling mauunawaan at naiintindihan ng mga pinapahiwatig o nilalaman nito. Halimbawa ang mga stories, storybooks, comics at iba pa. Mas madali silang maunawaan kapag may mga nakikitang mga visual representations ng mga pangyayari. So, how do we read pictures? So, we read pictures in the same way that we read a page of words. Iniintindi natin yung meaning o yung idea na gusto niyang iparating. We derive the message from the medium by attaching meaning to it. A picture can be read in 4 levels as follows. Number 1, enumerate level. This is the lowest level in reading. In this level, merely calls for the giving of what one sees in the picture. Kung ano lang yung nakikita, yun lang yung kayang i-describe. For example, flower, ball, dog, girl, boy. Those are the things we can see on the picture. Mga single words lang ang kaya nilang sabihin in describing the picture. Number 2, descriptive level. Giving a sentence on what is seen or how one sees in the picture looks like. Learners can formulate sentences in describing the picture images. For example, I see a big yellow flower, or the ball is red. Number 3, interpretative level. Giving more meaningful sentences, which are the inference type. In this level, learners can now give a deep meaning about the picture presented. For example, the yellow flower is the girl's favorite, or father gives the red ball to his son. And number 4, integrative level. This is the highest level in reading. This is relating to one sees in the picture to life. In this level, learners can now relate their personal experiences on the picture presented or provided. For example, mother bought plastic sunflower from the supermarket, or I played basketball with my friends on Sundays. So the teacher only presented an image of flower and a ball, but the learners can share experiences or personal experiences that are related to the image. Reading pictures can be most rewarding if the students or pupils are given guides to what to see and how to see things in the picture. They must be guided to interpret and draw inferences about what they see. Pictures must not be merely displayed, hindi lang yan dapat nakasabit lang o pampaganda ng wall. They should be read and talked about. That is why it is necessary that the teacher should choose those which are related and relevant to the children's interest, experience, and maturity. This is to encourage thoughtful seeing and discourse. The second type of pictorial media is photographs. So the word photograph is derived from the Greek words photos means light and graph means drawing or drawing with lights. Photographs are pictures captured or taken using a camera. Photographs are also still pictures, which means hindi gumagalaw. Photographs can be mounted or unmounted. Usually, they appear in black and white or full of colors. In the choice of photographs, teachers should choose those that suggest motion or the candid shots, as they are more interesting and lifelike. Shotgun pictures do not pose so much challenge and interest, hence, the discussion about them is limited. So here are some examples of photographs. The third type of pictorial media is illustration. So illustrations are non-photographic reconstruction or representation of reality, sketched or drawn by an illustration teacher or the students or learners themselves. Kung walang readily available na mabibiling mga pictures related to the topic na i-discuss ng teacher, so pwede ito. Si teacher mismo o ang mga learners ang guguhit o magdodraw. So illustrations can be in a black and white or full of color. They can be prepared ahead of time or the teacher can draw them on the blackboard or chalkboard while the class is going on. Like the photograph, they can be used by individual students or for a group of learners. Here are some examples of illustration. So with the use of illustration, it helps the learners to understand ideas more concrete. This also makes generalization more specific and detailed. These enable teachers not just to tell, but to show what they mean during the discussion. These are the purposes for which flat pictures, photographs, and illustrations can be used for teaching. Number 1, to concertize words and symbols. When teacher talk about a haunted house, pupils will not be able to imagine what kind of house is it, how does it looks like. But if a picture is being shown, the learners will have a specific visualization of the kind of haunted house the teacher is talking about. Pupils will have then uniform information about the topic discussed. So mas madaling maiintindihan ng mga learners yung sinasabi ni teacher, especially kung ito ay lugar o bagay. Number 2, to lend meaning to what one reads. In a science class, a student read about single-celled organism like amoeba or the paramecium. An enlarged picture of both, when seen by the pupils, will enrich what they read. Likewise, if reading about atoms and molecules, seeing an illustration about them will enrich their understanding of what they are. So, mas madaling intindihin yung mga concepts kung may mga picture or visual representation tayong nakikita kung paano ang itsura at paano yung proseso or process. Number 3, to introduce or motivate. In a literature class, where the students are required to read the Ilocano epic, Biyag ni Lamang. Pictures of some episodes from the epic may arouse curiosity and interest to read it. The pictorial background can serve to orient the class of what kind of literary piece they are going to read. Another example nito ay yung mga storybooks. Diba? Hindi lang puro text yung laman, meron ding mga images na kasama para mas maingganyo yung mga bata na basahin ng mga ito. Same as comics, may mga pictures na nagpapakita kung ano yung nangyayari sa mga scenes. Adding image, encourage, and motivate learners to read. Number 4, to correct misconceptions. Pictures and photographs can make meanings more vivid and clearer because they can capture scenes, emotions, and details which words are not able to describe. So concepts are non-pictorial, but they can help in developing and presenting them. So gumagamit tayo ng pictures, images, or photographs upang ipaintindi sa mga learners yung mga concept na hindi natin kayang sabihin or ipakita through text or oral presentation. For example, liberty. So liberty is a concept which is non-pictorial. So paano natin ituturo ng malinaw at hindi nalilito yung mga learners? So we can use pictures showing the effects and signs of liberty. So this can help learners to better understand it. With the help of picture or photographs, naiiwasan ang pagkalito ng mga concepts. Number 5, to summarize a unit. Upang magkaroon ng sapat na kaalaman at pangunawa ang mga mag-aaral sa bawat unit ng aralin, pictures, photographs, and illustrations should supplement and complement what pupils read in reference and what they heard from the lecture of teachers. Dapat ang mga larawan na gagamitin ay naibibigay, na ipapakita at akma sa tatalakaying aralin. Ang paggamit ng mga larawan ay dapat na gawing mahalagang bahagi ng pag-aaral dahil nakatutulong ito sa mga learners na mas madaling maintindihan ng mga konsepto sa talakayan. And lastly, number 6, to arouse emotions. Pictures arouse emotions, hence, they compel one's attention. For example, a violent picture may stimulate one to dislike the act. A beautiful landscape may evoke appreciation, while a colorful dish arranged with garnishing may stimulate appetite. So this arousal focuses one's attention and sustains his drives about it. So this condition facilitates teaching and learning. The fourth type of pictorial media is flashcards. So when we say flashcards, these are the cards containing a small amount of information. So this is one of the classic study tools, and for good reason. Flashcards promote studying through active recall, which is one of the practices through which our brain learn most effectively. So flashcards are valuable materials for drills activities, particularly in the teaching of mathematics, English, and Filipino. Drills are very important means of fixing the skills and automatizing the response of the pupils or students. So flashcards serve the purpose when used very well. Flashcards come in a form of word cards, phrase cards, sentence cards, mathematical combination cards, and picture cards. So ito yung mga maliliit na hugis kudrado tapos kakaunti lang yung mga nakasulat. So usually ang mga ito ay baliktaran. Nasa harap yung tanong tapos sa kabilang side naman nakalagay yung mga sagot. So there are considerations we must know and follow in using flashcards. Number 1, the flashcards must be bold and big enough to be seen by everybody. Dapat nakikita ng lahat. It should be large and darker text. Heavier appearance than the normal text. At kung image naman, dapat malaki at malinaw. Number 2, flash the cards in a fast or snappy manner to develop fast thinking or response. This will enable the learners or pupils to automatize response. Dapat mabilis siyang nililipat para masanay o ma-practice ang mga learners na mag-isip at sumagot na mabilis. Number 3, flash the cards from back to front. Write the answer at the back of each flashcard so that as you flash, you can see the answer. And thus, you will be able to check if the response of the pupils is correct or not. So baliktaran siya. Yung unang side questions, yun yung nakaharap sa mga students. Tapos sa kabilang side, yun naman yung sagot. Yun yung nakaharap sa teacher para pag sumagot yung mga learner, he or she can see if tama yung sagot nila. And lastly, number 4, hold the flashcards firmly at your chest level. Take care not to hide the words. Kung gagamit nito, dapat hawakan ng tama at maigi para maiwasang makita ng mga learners yung sagot na nakalagay sa kabilang side ng card. Dapat it should be at your chest level pero make sure hindi natatakpan yung mga nakasulat dito. And that's the end of my report. Once again, I am Dizon Rina. Thank you for listening and have a great day.